Hi guys, we love you here. Part 2 of the twisted reasons why men kill their family, why parents kill their children. Part 2. In 1989, Carol Stewart, she was 7 months pregnant and she was shot. She was rushed to the emergency room for a C-section, but sadly Carol dies. But the baby lives, but sadly only lives for 17 days and passes on. In January the 4th, 1990, Charles Stewart, that was the husband, he had a brother called Michael. And he came forward and went to the police and admitted his part of the cover-up. The cover-up. Later on, before the police could get to Charles, his car was found abandoned by a bridge, and the next day his body was found floating in the river. We all remember this one. Drew Peterson case. His wife, Kathy Peterson, in 2004, they had got to divorce and they had children together. And she was found in her own bathtub, dead. They thought that she had drowned or hit her head, things like that. And that's how that went. But a few years later, he obviously had a girlfriend, he had one before, during his divorce, because he's nothing but a cheater. That's my opinion. And he thought he was funny, could fool anybody. But you know what? He didn't want to lose nothing, did he? He had his house, he had the money, and he had the kids. That's all he cared about. No more child support for him. Kathy is dead. Stacy Peterson, in 2007, she went missing. 2007, she went missing. She was Drew's girlfriend in 2004. So he met her when she was only a very young girl, like 19, maybe younger. But she was 19 at the time. So in 2007, Stacy goes missing, never to be seen again. She had had children with Drew Peterson. And I guess she was on the verge of leaving him too. So he said she ran off. She ran off with another man. She ran off and left me with the children. Yeah, that's what she did. Yep, that's what Drew said. But in 2009, 2 years later, Drew Peterson was indicted for murder. And this case went on and on and on. But in 2012, he was convicted of murder. And he got 38 years in prison. And I think Drew was 39 years old at the time. But Stacy has never been found to this day. She is still missing, and it's 2019. And, they said she ran off, she left her kids, she loved her kids. She'd never leave her kids. But the one thing that happened before she went missing was she had talked to the police, the detective, and wanted to talk to him, or she did go in there and talk to him, but she was to talk to them again. But she went missing because she was going to tell them what happened, what really happened to Kathy. And this is why she was leaving, because he controlled every movement. He controlled her. He threatened her, and he did a bunch of things to her. You know, and she was young at the time, but now she's older and more mature. And she wanted out of the marriage, and she was going to leave him too and get a divorce. But no, in this little pea brain, that wasn't going to happen. She wasn't going to take all what he had worked for all his life. Now, going to the police is a very dangerous thing when your husband is a policeman. And he thinks he's so slick. He can get all this information. And he probably has the police backing his butt up. You know, like they do. They stick together. And he probably got word of this. And he did get word of it. I'm sure of it. I don't know about the proof, but I'm sure he did. Because he's a sneaking. He's ugh. He's ugh. I don't even know. Look at his face on the TV. Look how he's acting. Well, he's an idiot. But anyway, so we all heard about that case and where that ended up. And then I guess he got himself into some more trouble while he was in prison. So he got more time. Well, this man's never getting out, but that's okay. He's in there for life. He's old and he's got 38 years or more, 40 years, 50 years. He's never getting out. So we don't have to worry about another woman going missing. Lori Hacking. She was from Utah, Salt Lake City. And she was 27 when she went missing. And her husband was called Mark. And he apparently reported her missing at some point. And on August the 9th, 2004, he was charged with first-degree murder. On the 1st of October, 2004, well, I think it was 2004. Well, on the 9th of August, 2004, he was charged with first-degree murder. But on the 1st of October, Lori's remains, I think this might have been a year later, Lori's remains were found, but not much. This is what I'm saying. Not much of her body was found. And her body was found in a landfill. You know, how big are they? You know, these searchers that just search high and low. A needle in a haystack. In a haystack. Do you know what I mean? I mean, my God. Will they find this body? Well, anyway, they had reason to search. Oh, yeah. They had a reason why they were there searching. And these people searched high and low. And they found 2 teeth. A needle in a haystack. In a haystack. And a piece of bone. This is what they found of Lori's body. But it was proof she was dead. That's all they needed. That's all they needed. But sadly, they didn't find any more of her body, as far as I know. So, on October the 29th, 2004, Mark took a plea of not guilty. A year later, the year later, on April the 15th, 2005, Mark changes his mind and pleads guilty. See, they gave him a plea deal. They gave him a plea deal. And he pleads guilty to first-degree murder, but only if they drop other charges. You see, They made a deal with the devil here, a deal with the devil. Now, why do these detectives and lawyers make such a deal? Well, the judge had no choice, but under Utah law, he gave him 6 years to life. In 6 years, this man's getting out. Maybe not in 6 years, but maybe in 10. He gets up for parole. 6 years to life. And he's getting out. Now, this is absolutely disgusting. Poor Laura body was in pieces. She was probably put through that woodcutter or something. They found a tooth, a couple of teeth, and a bone. And that was the maximum under Utah law at that time that the judge could give him for making this disgusting plea deal. They let him make this disgusting plea deal, knowing that he's just pled guilty. And they took off these other charges, whatever they were. Yeah, tampering with the body, disposing of a body, all that business. Well, anyway, not long after, Utah laws had changed, and they called it Laura's Law. You see, Laura was pregnant. She was pregnant. Now, if these laws were in effect at that time, they wouldn't have made such a deal to Mark. He would have got life in prison. He'd got life in prison. Murder of a pregnant mother. But he's got 6 years to life, and we know he's getting out. We know he surely is getting out to do it again, probably. When things don't go right. He probably had a mistress. He probably had a girlfriend. Perhaps he didn't want no kids or no more kids. Well, Latoya, this woman Latoya, was 5 months pregnant. And she was found strangled. She was 5 months pregnant. And she was reported missing on July the 18th, 2005. And 2 months later, her body was found. A month later, Stephen's father, the father of the child, his name is Stephen. Well, anyway, in 2006, because this is like a year later, he was convicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder of Latoya and her unborn child. See, guys, crime doesn't pay. Because like I said in my other video, most people that kill their family, like their wife and their children, their partners, somebody very, very close to them, are always the first suspects. And then they work their way down, And 9 times out of 10, these people are going to get caught. And then their life is over. Some people kill themselves before they can come and arrest them. But not many do that because they think they're smart and they think they're going to get away with it. Yeah, they do. They think they're going to get away with murder. But you know what? People just don't disappear. Normal people just don't vanish. And people, know that most people don't keep taking off and would never take off and leave their children. Or they just wouldn't never take off and not contact anybody. See, this is why I say, guys, if you're getting divorced and it's not a good divorce and you're scared of your spouse, you're scared of somebody that you're with, you need to do it in a different way. You need to open up to people. You need to tell somebody. You need to write it down. Sometimes people have a book and they write things in it. But you need more than that. You need more than that. Sometimes you need to take pictures, or you need to record something with some tapes. If you're going through a rough patch, you need to go learn how to use a gun or something. Even if you feel like you'll never use it, but it's good to know how to use it, just in case. And most states, you can own a firearm. You just get a license for it. Most states say you can use carry a gun in your car, on your person. Like here in Wisconsin, you can do that. Learn how to use one. If this is how it's coming, you're scared for your life because the police can't be there. And you certainly may not be able to get to a phone to call for help. And the police, you don't know how long they're going to take to come there. So you need to tell a close friend, somebody you can trust. Go talk to the pastor. Or even tell the police and make complaints, or have it written down, some documentation. Go get a court order, from the judge. But sometimes you have to prove this, because they just don't give them out. You have to have some kind of proof. You know what I mean? So you need to document this, and you need to tell people what's going on. Don't keep your mouth shut. You don't have to tell everybody. You don't have to tell all your coworkers. But if you find one good friend that you can tell stuff to, just in case something happens, you need to do it. And you need to do it now, because we thought Chris Watts and people like that, and the Scott Peterson that killed Lacey, not the other one, the one in California, when he killed his wife and threw her in the ocean. He said he went fishing, and it was Christmas Eve, and he killed his wife on Christmas Eve. Oh yeah, and she was 8 months pregnant. Now, grant you, he had a mistress, and he lied about everything. Look what he was doing on TV. Look how he was trying to stay out of the camera. He wasn't even trying to look for his wife. Look how he faked those tears on TV. Like, really faked those one tears that came out that one time. And that was it, like a couple of seconds. Look how he was when his phone was ringing. Yeah, grant you, he was being televised. He was having an interview about his wife, but he didn't answer his telephone. Hell, I would have said, oh, hold on a minute, I got to answer this phone, because that could be my wife. That could be my wife trying to call me. The cameras could still keep rolling, but he needed to get up and answer his phone. No, because he knew she was dead. And, when he bought that boat, nobody knew about it. It was a secret. Oh, yeah. But he said he bought that boat for a Christmas present. I think he bought it for his father-in-law. It was going to be a surprise. He's such a liar. He's such a liar. You buy a boat for somebody, what do you do using it and going fishing on it? And he didn't even know what he was fishing for. He didn't even know what bait he was using. But we all know he looked up the currents. And he hadn't even been on a boat fishing. Now, a lot of people say, that's not a type of boat that you go on the ocean with. Nobody does that. That's a river boat, where you go along a river that's quiet and calm. That is not an ocean boat. And, well, he knew nothing. He only got that boat for one reason only. And their little bodies it's a miracle. It's just a total miracle. that their bodies washed up. What a miracle. Yeah, she wanted to be found, all right. But we didn't get her all back, but at least they found the bodies and knew they were dead, where they were. That's one good thing that came out of that in a sad situation. But at least she got her babies back, the mother. She got her daughter and her grandbaby back to bury them, and they could be together forever. Now look how the way he was acting. Oh, I'm in Paris. I'm by the Eiffel Tower. Oh yeah, it's so loud in here. It's beautiful. The fireworks are going off. Oh, sorry, it's so loud around here. Oh my God. And he stood there at the vigil. And even the detectives knew he was there. What a story. But anyway, so listening to him, we could find out what kind of liar he was. Same as Chris Watts. The one when he gave his famous interview on the doorstep. My God. But Peterson, was selling. Well, he wasn't selling. He sold his wife's vehicle and got himself another one. And then he put his house up for sale. Yep, put his house up for sale and ordered himself some porn. Oh yeah. Sat back by the fireplace and ordered himself some porn. And he didn't even go out on the search for his wife. Oh no. No, he wouldn't, would he? Because he knows where she is. But we know how that ended up. I mean, he did keep his mouth shut after he was charged. Oh yeah, he kept his mouth shut. And his mother's kind of like Watts' mother, I guess. Naive, I guess. Mama's little boy. All that and the other. But now we got more cases in the news. I don't know why people just can't leave people alone. Just let them go. And people need to stop fighting over their children. They need to stop fighting over the children, who's having who. I'm having full custody. You can see them when I say so. You're going to pay me X amount of dollars. You be pushing these people into madness sometimes. It's not right, but there are people that get mentally ill from it. You set them off. And sometimes these people are sane, but when something happens that triggers their they get emotional and they get down. Something triggers in their head and they snap. And that's how I can put it. They might have been the normalest person and would never think they would do such a thing. But there is such a thing as snapped. An insane moment. A sane moment. And who knows what a person will do after they've killed somebody, what they will do. Because everybody's different. But once they're dead, they're dead. There's nothing you can do about it. Either you call 911, you call the police, and you be honest and let them know what happened. But not everybody can do that. Not everybody can be honest like that. And they start making up stories. And they say, oh, this happened, this happened. But sometimes things are a mistake. But not many of them. And most of them are planned. So guys, you need to listen. This is what they say, communication and listen. Listen to what they're saying. Listen to what they're doing. It's not like being a jealous person or anything. But if you're having problems, you got to start taking notes. You got to observe their mental status. You got to be aware of all this. And don't wait till the last minute to get the hell out or do what you got to do. Don't wait till the last minute. You got to start taking action, get a plan in action. You got to start finding out steps to what you got to do. You got to start putting money by. You got to be able to be ready to go in a moment's notice, type of thing. So, do you know what I mean? So anyway, guys, why do men kill their families? Well, these are some of the reasons. And in my video, the first video, this is why men kill, and women. Women kill for the same reasons too. I mean, there's some women, you know, when they have babies, they get prenatal blues and they get depressed, but there's medication for that. And sometimes women don't snap out of it once they've had a baby. It changes their life forever. They get mentally ill. But there's medication for that. But you've got to see the signs there. Are they acting weird? Are they getting better? And these type of people, if they're not getting help, never leave them with their child. Never leave them alone. You can't trust them because it only takes a moment for them to snap because they're mentally ill. So if they're not getting help and they're not taking their medication, and after a few days you notice they're acting weird again, you know they ain't taking their medication. Don't ever leave your kids with them. Don't ever leave your kids with somebody that's mentally ill. That's all I got to say. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and let's discuss this video and see you next time. Thank you.